YouTube, what is up, Coach Wiz? We're back with another reaction video. Today we got Uncut Hoops, the truth about prime Larry Bird. Let's get it.
He was the toughest player I ever had to guard and I had to play against. And the reason for it, he's 6'10". Hit the three-point shot.
Legit 6'10".
He can post you up. And he can see over the top of you at 6'10", so he can always pick you apart with the pass. And he was a great rebounder as well and putting the ball on the floor in the open floor.
A lot of young kids will say, I'm going to be a great athlete. Well, that's your first mistake. A great athlete going to give you a lot of oohs and ahs. Great basketball player going to beat you every night. That's who Larry Bird was.
Give the basket to Willis.
Well said.
Bird, great up fake.
If they can keep up this tempo, Atlanta, Dominique is going to have a big night. Dominique fell down.
Right back at the Hawks. Go low to Bird. Gets the double team. Wants it.
If you were writing a book about basketball, the piece I saw would merit a chapter or two. But ask any basketball expert, and they'll tell you that if you're rewriting the story of basketball, the author, Larry Bird.
When it comes to the career of Larry Joe Bird, he's universally regarded as one of the best players of all time, most impactful, as well as influential. For guys like Bird, Magic, and Jordan, what they did in the 80s and 1990s cannot be underrated. Now, one thing that can be underrated is those guys' overall skill sets. And looking at Bird first and foremost, a lot of Bird's stats and numbers, yes, they are available, but the more advanced analytics, advanced numbers simply didn't exist and they weren't tracked.
It's true.
That's a damn shame.
Now, luckily for you guys out there, I'm a basketball psychopath who loves NBA history. So looking at Larry Bird, I did the past month, I watched the entire 86 playoff run, 18 total games, and tracked all of Bird's advanced stats, metrics, and data nobody's ever thought to uncover.
Well, we're waiting.
So when it comes to 86 Bird, this guy undoubtedly one of the best players of all time, and in my view, the best small forward peak we've ever seen. As Bird at this point was a three-time MVP, all
best small forward peak. Y'all agree? You already know how I feel. I've been saying it for a while now. Larry Bird in 86, you can debate that prime, that peak, probably the best we've seen. You can debate it with a few others, obviously, but what do y'all think?
Consecutively, one of the best shooters in the game, passers, rebounders, as well as fourth quarter players. And looking at his postseason run, if that wasn't impressive enough, Bird's overall production went up come playoff time. As that year's playoffs, 25.9 points, 9.3 boards, 8.2 assists on impeccable shooting splits, along with 2.1 steals. Larry Bird's raw stat numbers were highly, highly impressive. As looking through NBA history, at 25 8-8 playoff runs, this run 86 was the first of its kind. And since that date, only 3 players since then have joined him in this elite company.
It's good company.
Jokic, Doncic, and LeBron James.
Not bad.
Now, where Bird really separates himself is in the efficiency category. As their high volume playoff runs at 54-90 splits, there's only 3 of them. Bird 86, Kawhi 2017, and Kevin Durant in 2019.
That's tough.
Why Larry Bird's so unique and so special, he can step the stat sheet like Luka, Jokic, and LeBron, but maintain efficiency who has Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard, who are primarily scorers and not asked to pass the ball nearly as much.
Yeah, he's like a combination of all of them. That's crazy to think about. But just shoots better, more efficient.
On the back in on Woolridge. Finds McHale cutting for 2 with a great pass by Larry Bird.
And they did in game 1. Bird had the ball in good position.
And found the open Peterson, and then they forget about McHale. Let him roll easily into the hoop. When you get the ball in Bird's hands, anybody that has half a step on his defender is going to get the ball.
He just knew where his teammates were supposed to be.
KD and Kawhi Leonard, they're regarded as great elite scorers who have phenomenal jump shots. Someone like Larry Bird, yes, we know he's a great jump shooter. We don't know just how great he was, of course, until now. And looking at 86 Bird, he was pretty phenomenal. In this playoff run, on jump shots, 48% at over 220 attempts. When you look at LeBron, KD, and Kawhi Leonard in postseasons, we took at least 200 jump shots, Here's their overall numbers in comparison to Bird. LeBron, in his playoff career, 8 separate times took 200-plus jump shots. In those runs, not once close to 48%, and peaked out in the low 40s. Someone like Kawhi Leonard only one playoff run with 200-plus jumpers in 2019. That percentage, 43.8%, well below Bird. Now looking at Durant, 7 separate years.
This is the one I want to see.
200-plus jump shots. Out of those 7 seasons, only one of them was higher than Bird. As the majority of KD's seasons are in the high 30s, mid 40s.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
So Larry Bird right here compared to 16 different seasons from LeBron, Kobe, and Kawhi. Only one of those seasons out of the bunch tops Bird in 86. And it being Durant, honestly, isn't that shocking, as Durant the jump shooter is absolutely phenomenal and lights out. But in the same vein, Larry Bird was equally as good, if not better, most seasons.
To see the game to come to this point after 30-some years, and teams are taking 35, a lot of them over 30 three-pointers a game, some 50. I just never anticipated that. When I played, I never shot that many. I've always used it at the end of the game. If you're down 1 or if you're up 2, you make a three-pointer, demoralizes the team.
See what I'm saying? He used it as like a tool, but his whole game wasn't, but like relied on him making threes. Larry Bird was going to get you on that block, get you in that elbow area, and punish you. Punish you. He's going to back you down, a lot of pump fakes, a lot of jabs, work the angles extremely well, and he's going to pick you apart with the passing too. And then if you leave him open from 3, he going to take it. If you slip up when he's coming off of those down screens and pin down, because he comes off screens too. He's good at that too. Like, he just had no weakness. But I like what he's saying here, because nowadays it's all about the 3. And it shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, teams now are just like, let's see who can make more threes. Even players think like that. And it's just crazy where the game's been. It's just crazy.
Celtics up by 3. Parrish gets it back to Bird, who takes a three-pointer of his own. Gets it to Walton. Bird's three-pointer. Oh, he bangs in another one.
I'll tell you, I played with him. I coached him. He would be a great man.
Another.
One of the best shooters ever, saying they don't rely on shooting threes.
Here it is. A three-pointer.
It's crazy.
In the 1980s for Larry Bird, taking threes, yes, it was acceptable, but it wasn't widely pushed as a primary weapon for offensive player. And for Bird, he wasn't just a three-point shooter, a long-range guy. Larry Bird's offensive game was at all 3 levels. Larry Bird in the mid-range, 56%. Catch and shoot shots, 48%. All post-ups, 64%. Fadeaways, 57%. And left-hand shots, 69%.
Every business is on its own path to AI.
Is there anybody more efficient?
Right back at the Hawks. They go low to Bird. Gets the double team. Wants it.
McRae on Bird. They isolate him one-on-one.
Told you, get you on that.
And a left-handed shot against McRae.
What is left hand off the glass from that angle?
Working against McRae now. Works his way in.
Well, we know him and probably Kyrie, Kobe probably got the best offhands ever. Rod Strickland is another one that had an amazing offhand too. It's tough.
Larry Bird, the scorer and shooter, could do it in a variety of ways from a variety of spots on the court. And actually, the go-to spot was in the mid-range, the in-between game. And look at those numbers, 76 of 135. Not just great volume, but also great efficiency. And looking at the rest of NBA history, since 97, the tracking data began. 125 players in this time period took 100 more mid-range jump shots in a single postseason run. Out of those 125, only 7 of them are above 50%.
So sorry, but I'm sipping this little like pre-energy workout type of deal. Which reminds me, I am training seniors. Excuse me. If you are a senior or you know a loved one who wants to stay independent, get healthy, maybe they want to work on their bone density, whatever it is, hit that description, fill it out. I'll see what we can do. Maybe we can help you out. Um, yeah, that's all I got. I got to work out after this, so that was a great way to plug that in. Oh, I also have been doing Zoom classes. They've been doing pretty good. You'll get a link. You pay like, what is it, 5? Some days it's 5, some days it's 10. But yeah, you can join our senior Zoom class too. Pretty dope, good vibe. So if y'all know anybody, keep that in mind.
% shooting. And looking at the top 5, it's definitely pretty telling. 5th place, Durant 2012. 4th place, Durant 2018.
Oh, Durant is a monster.
Second, Larry Joe Bird. And 1st place, Steve Nash.
Steve Nash could shoot that thing.
So once again, Larry Bird, the shooter, in some pretty great company. In the small forward position, a notch better than Kevin Durant at his absolute best. Now,
I remember when JJ Redick said Larry Bird wasn't one of the best shooters ever. I did a video on that. It's on my Larry Bird playlist. Go check it out.
Staying with Bird's shot making, looking at catch and shoot jumpers. Bird this playoff run was 48 of 100, exactly 48%. Tracking data for catch and shoot shots goes back to 2014. During that very selective time period, 41 players have taken at least 100 catch and shoot jump shots in that run. Out of that list, Bird ranks 4th all time at 48%. The guys ahead of him, Al Horford, Klay Thompson, and Jokic.
Julian cheated way in. Jokic going to throw it up from
Nikola Jokic. I would love to play against him.
Now, the last big part of Larry Bird's game.
Kind of similar, a little bit, in a way. Like their games, just a little bit. It's crazy how many bigs were on that list, though. Like on the catch and shoot, it's crazy.
Was post-up plays, back-to-the-basket plays. In his playoff run, total of 52 attempts with 33 makes. If you look through all of NBA history since 2014, 74 players all-time have taken at least 25 post shots in a single playoff run. Out of that list, Larry Bird comes in 5th place with the highest percentage, only behind Siakam, Embiid, Tim Duncan, and then John Collins. So that right there for Larry Bird in 3 different areas is the upper echelon of his peers in recorded NBA history. That includes mid-range shooting, catch and shoot jump shots, and post-up jumpers.
Reed starts out on Larry Bird, and his fall away is
Bird with 4, 3, 2. Got it. Wow.
Harris tries to go along the baseline, kicks it back to Bird. Bird fires. Bird hits.
I think he's almost created a different basketball.
Shot was so pretty.
Power forward, and he's a quick forward, and he shoots like a guard. He's a creative guy.
Pointer, no. Walton the rebound. Bird looking for his first basket. That's it.
When you depend on your superstar to get you 30 a game all season long, and all of it.
When he's matched up against Rollins, Bird. He was special.
Larry Bird, the individual scorer and shooter, the most versatile player in league history, who was at the top of the class in nearly every single category. And ask yourself the question, how do you guard prime Larry Bird?
No idea.
Put a small, quick defender on him like Mitchell Wiggins. What does he do? He bullies.
Yeah, facts. Put somebody smaller on him. He going right to that block. Barbecue chicken. Put somebody bigger on him, he gonna go around him. And he was way too crafty, so he's gonna go around him, whether he's faster or not. You put the athletic guys on him, he just outthought him. I mean, Larry Bird is the best all-around basketball player ever. Like, all around, like, I don't think anybody's better.
Bullies them, gets around them, an easy layup. Put a bigger defender on them, then it's finesse game, pump fakes, get you out of your shoes, easy layup, easy jump shots. Then the final fail-safe, the athletic defender has speed, quickness, all the intangible tools on paper. Even guys like that, Dominic, Terry Cummings, Orlando Woolridge, them guarding Larry Bird, they're absolutely helpless.
3 minutes played in the game. Give the basket to Willis.
And for my younger players, this is why you need to master spots. Master getting to your spots on the floor.
Dominique is going to have a big night. Dominique fell down.
Because that's all he's doing. He's getting to where he wants to get to, and he's just not taking his shot. Nothing crazy. Look at that.
Oh,
That was tough.
Great this win.
These are tough shots.
36 for Larry Bird.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
So that right there, Larry Bird torching players who are faster, stronger, more athletic, the better players on paper looking at physical metrics. And again, Larry Bird can score. Where's his weak point on the court? He can shoot threes, mid-range, he can post up, he can catch and shoot, and he has to shoot free throws. He's at 93% on the season.
Perfection.
Larry Bird being so flawless offensively, really having no weak points, made him a big-time threat in the fourth quarters, one of the best clutch-time players the game's ever seen. And looking at 86 Bird in the fourth quarters and clutch time was pretty mind-boggling. In this run, 6.5 points per game, 2.1 dimes, 56% shooting, 64% from three, and from the line, 85%.
Yo, that's crazy. In the fourth? And this is back then, not when stats were all blown out of proportion and not when the pace was crazy out of control. Like this is back then. More physical, way more defense. They actually thought the game, played the game. So him averaging this in the fourth quarters back then is crazy. We talking about hand checking, grabbing, and then the 2 assists, right? That's a lot. That's a lot of assists in a much slower, like in a slower paced game, more physical game. Like compared to now, that's a lot.
Those shooting split numbers right there are completely absurd, and they are video game-esque numbers. But again, to compare to all of NBA history, it becomes even more impressive.
It's crazy.
Looking at recorded history, since '97, there's 48 playoff runs of a player averaged 6.5 points per game in the fourth quarter or more. Out of those 48 runs, only 15 of the players shot above 50%. And Larry Bird, he was in the top 3. The only guys ahead of him, Ant Edwards last season, and Giannis in 2021.
My teammates knew at the end of the game, if it's close, I was going to take the shots. They knew that.
Rockets have not crumbled. They've hung in there with.
And he wanted that. He wanted that. He wanted those moments.
12 ties and 16.
That's what separates players.
Walton, who's been there before. Bird for 3 hits, and the Celtics lead by 3. And who else but Larry Bird?
Yeah, they kept coming back, and Bird hit the big three-pointer at the end to sort of give us the cushion we needed.
Larry Bird right there in the fourth quarters by the raw numbers, one of the best players of all time, if not the single best keeper player in all of league history. But here's the added detail, those 2.1 dimes. At first glance, that might not seem like much, but looking at fourth quarter plays, that number is absurdly high. I mean, look at this list. John Stockton, Rondo,
That's crazy.
Pitt, LeBron, Luka, some of the best point guards, point forwards in league history.
That's crazy because the game, Stockton 2.6 assists and 98 is tough. Once you start getting, I would say like 2000, like the 2010s to now basketball just, right? So Rondo and Luka, their stats are kind of, inflated. You know what I mean? But again, 2.1 assists in the fourth quarter and 86. That's tough. I mean, if you get 2 assists per quarter, that's 8 assists. That's a lot. You want to break it down that way? That is a lot.
History. So Bird for fourth quarter scoring and fourth quarter passing is absolutely elite, the cream of the crop. But here's the one big detail. Unlike a lot of point forwards, many Luka and LeBron James, What does Larry Bird not do? Handle the ball 24/7 and be extremely ball dominant.
That's very true. Very true.
You know, the Celtics have been around this score for quite a while. Boston.
He didn't have to be on the ball all the time because he could play without the basketball, which I think every player should know how to do.
Game 2. Bird, what a pass from Dennis Johnson. I think he's thinking too much. And normally he would just catch that basketball and just dunk it or go in for the easy shot.
The game of basketball is pretty simple if the ball's moving.
Sure.
Now, the point guard can do whatever he wants to do. Instead of dribble from one side to the other, back and forth. But he's an initiator. And if he gets that ball moving, that ball's moving, everybody feels a part of it. It doesn't matter where it ends up because it's always going to end up with the best player. You know?
Facts.
Sometimes that always happens.
Yeah.
But
Ball has energy.
That's right. And you get that ball moving and good things happen all the time. It's a pretty simple game if you play it the right way.
Perfect. Until now.
Listen to him.
4 on 2. Bird to Parrish. More effective
No lies told.
It's a bad shot by Moncrief.
The Celtics could just beat you however. Down low, they could push it, beat you with pace. They had Bird, they had McHale down low. They could beat you however they wanted to.
Gibson, who takes the ball away. 3-on-1 for the Boston. Up ahead, Bird.
When you have a selfless superstar like a Steph Curry or Larry Bird, they don't need the basketball. The team's overall ability, their height, get raised exponentially. And looking at Boston, Larry Bird's teammates, whether it be a Johnson, McHale, Parrish, heck, even a Bill Walton, those guys with Bird in his system were definitely maximized at their full absolute potential. Now, looking at Larry Bird's off-ball stats, his dribbling stats, these are pretty staggering and shocking. As looking at Bird's field goals made,
Yo, this is crazy. Zero dribbles, 86. One dribble, 41. That's all I need to see. Just picking and choosing. That's how easy the game was for him. He didn't have to take a billion dribbles. Look, 7 dribbles was only twice. He didn't need to take 1,000 dribbles. That is efficient, man. That is so efficient. That is so elite. Bonzi Wells, shout out to Bonzi Wells. Bonzi Wells once told me, if you cannot score in 2 dribbles, you are not a scorer. Give it up. Do something else. That's what he used to tell me. Crazy, man.
a total of 171. Out of those field goals, 86 of them came with 0 dribbles. That's over half.
0 dribbles.
Only 1 dribble, 19 of them with 2, 23 with 3 to 6, and 7+ dribbles. Only 2 made field goals.
Boston Garden crowd. Larry Bird trying to get the Celtics on track.
Beautiful.
Bird over Banks.
Bird, Walton, Ainge, and McHale. 5 men on the floor for KC. Great pass by Walton.
Larry Bird got into dueling passes, and the rest thought it'd be fun.
Look how well he comes off screens.
4:20 to go here now in the third. Bird.
Yes, sir. For a young player to come in and get in the finals, doesn't understand the pressure.
When discussing the best point forwards in NBA history, of course you have guys like Luka, LeBron James, and then a Larry Bird. But the way guys like Luka and LeBron played was much more their show, their story.
Yeah, they gotta have the ball.
Joystick. For Larry Bird, a much more unselfish player who had teammates to thrive and do their own thing. Now, with that being said, Larry Bird, the point forward, the passing forward, in my view, the best of all time.
Away from the Rockets. Level hits a three-pointer from the corner. And Ainge releasing the other way, gets 2 of them back.
The Rockets still tentative, and there's a long pass to McHale.
Curry, Ainge's three-pointer. Tapped by Bird to McHale. What a play.
Affect the ball of teams. Their offensive rebounding, and Bird does it better than anybody, keeping it alive. Nice little tip down to McHale.
A couple of games and staying in the games. They haven't turned the ball over, but we haven't pressured their guards.
It's a great pass.
Especially when you
Forward and center in college.
Just knows where they're supposed to be.
Bird just hit him with a screen. Didn't get to the top of the head.
only 20 points in the second period. Is Larry Bird.
Ah.
Wilkins outside with Bird. Bounces back to McHale.
Come on.
Wilkins has got Bird. Hale's left alone.
None of them can shoot that well from outside where they should be going there.
Nice. Power forward. Bird looking for the open man. Finds him again.
These are all lead passes. Just putting the ball where you need to be to get it.
Bird.
Oh.
Bird finds Parrish.
So unselfish.
Bird finds Parrish.
Much like Bird's scoring ability, his passing ability, he could slice and dice from anywhere on the court with a variety of passes. And for guys like Dennis Johnson, Walton, McHale, I mean, he had insane chemistry with those guys, threading the needle, throwing lobs, and full court dimes on the money.
Well, is he good, Kramer?
Oh, he's the best.
Now, for modern day fans looking at Larry Bird's passing, what they go to immediately is the stat sheet. For Bird's career, only 6 dimes per game, which in today's era is a mildly impressive number, but
that's a lot, though.
That jumps out as super, super impressive. And this raises a clear-cut example of stats being misleading. As looking at the modern era basketball, the way assists are counted is completely fraudulent and wrong compared to the 1980s.
High up and Bilal right now
Thanks.
down his first 3.
Lead is 6 for Washington. Cam Johnson.
Familiar, right? Yep. Last game, 40 assists on 44 made field goals.
They're smart. Beautiful vet.
That's a good move.
19.
He had 17 points back on February the 5th against the Wizards. He was 3 of 9 from 3. Middleton got his hands on it and gets the steal. Bilal hustling back.
But I said this a while ago, like, these are not assists. But these count as assists today. So, like, think about it. Larry Bird would probably be at 10 assists a game easy. Like, these are not assists.
That's terrible.
Like, it makes no sense.
So stopping that right there, every single one of those plays, an assist was counted and given on the stat sheet as a legit assist. A guy makes 2 or 3 moves after catching the ball, that's an assist. For someone like Bird in the mid-80s, specifically 86, only averaging 6-7 dimes per game, what does that do to? Not Bird being an inferior passer, but the scorekeepers being much more strict and stringent, or what's an actual assist. For an example of this, look at Game 1 versus the Hawks in the second round. Bird, on record officially, only had 6 dimes, but he watched the game, very clearly had 8.
Loose Ames, bounce pass, beautiful to Bird in the middle. Here's DJ. The illegal defense. McHale, but you're going to get the ball. Not only get it, but you'll get it in the perfect situation to score. Just like that. He's thinking too much. And normally he would just catch that basketball and just dunk it or go in for the easy shot. Parrish. Opens outside with Bird. Bounces back to McHale. Malone just seemed to get all loose balls. Scores coming inside. Still another rebound. Johnson breaks free. There's the Boston break in the air with the.
Now, to be fair, because I agree with this 1,000%, but I did see 2 of those where it's like, you know what I'm saying?
I rest my case.
So that right there is clear-cut for the old saying, numbers never lie. Is indeed.
I mean, it does not.
As looking at Bird right there, very clearly.
But it doesn't take away from his point, because I agree with his point. Like, back then, those like, an assist is you pass somebody the ball and they score without taking like 3 dribbles. Now today, guys can do moves and all that, and they still count as assists. Those are not assists. Like, they're just really trying to speed the game up and just give away free stats. It's super annoying.
8 dimes. What we got credit for was only 6. And you might say, looking at that, well, what's the big deal? Only 2 assists. They missed a measly 2. Well, not the case, and it is a big deal. Looking at the entire 18-game playoff from Larry Bird, his official assist count was 8.2. But if you add in the non-credited assists where it jumps to, is 9.8.
Hey, I said 10.
Why is that important? In today's era, looking at stats and numbers, a 1.6 jump is a monumental deal for all your advanced metrics, which fans nowadays are absolutely in love with. And looking at that year's NBA Finals versus the Rockets, Larry Bird's official assist count was 9.5. Still very, very impressive. If you add in the assists that weren't counted when it jumps to, is 11.5. Mainly official record books, Larry Bird's assist count ranks second all time among Finals MVPs, only behind Magic and just ahead of Jordan in 1991.
That's crazy.
I'm writing this down. This is good stuff.
So that right there for 86 Brady, pretty good breakdown of his offensive game, shooting, and a little nuance that made Larry Bird the great player he was. But the one knock on Bird everyone always says is, on defense, he was subpar, and athletically, really couldn't cut it.
I think defensively, he doesn't get enough credit. Larry Bird was not a bad defender. So I don't know where that came from.
And when someone says that, what they're really telling you is you haven't watched Larry Bird peak Larry Bird.
Now, was he a lockdown defender? No, he was not. But you weren't going to just do whatever with Larry Bird, aren't you? And he was actually a really good help defender.
As saying this guy was slow, cut, and jump, it just falls watching the film. As looking at this year's playoffs, the guys Bird guarded were one Sidney Moncrief, an elite point guard, someone like Kevin Willis, 7-footer, Randy Brewer, who's 7'4", and then on certain switches, will guard guys like Jordan and Keem Olajuwon and really hold his own pretty well.
Field gives the Celtics that 4-point lead again. Olajuwon fighting for the loose ball, and he lost it thanks to
Larry Bird. Very good help defender.
Chicago in overtime. Jordan. And Bird got a hand on it. Here he comes. Bird cuts off Jordan.
Very good help defender. Always knew where to be. Was always in the right spots.
The ball, the pass out, hit the net. Whitman and Webb in the backcourt. Inside Livingston. Throws it away.
He isn't blessed with a great deal of jumping ability, but he's blessed with knowing where to put his body. He puts his body on the right part of the floor to defend. He has great anticipation.
Up the floor
there it is, great anticipation. And I mean, defense is just effort, right? And we know Larry Bird never lacked that. This is effort and will.
Has McHale in his face. Bird against Olajuwon. Great play by Bird. Sampson guarded by Bird, but Bird doing a good job against him. Traveling called against Rouse. Very aggressive defense.
Brewer was trying to post up Bird down low. He still is. Bird out on Cummings.
It forces the offensive players to move without the ball.
The Celtics are playing scintillating ball. Go to work as the center.
Just effort. This is all effort.
When it comes to Larry Bird, the defender, was he Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, just locking guys down 94 feet? No, of course not. But Larry Bird, the defender, wasn't a negative on that end. And his overall team defense was a big-time plus. I was watching a ton of those clips. The way he gets in passing lanes, double teams, his help defense is top-tier, A-plus defense. If
good help
said
defender.
Bird couldn't play defense, didn't play defense, what they're based on most likely is how he looks. If you know Larry Bird, it's the worst mistake he could possibly make. As offensively, people did the exact same thing. And what happened over and over and over again? This quote-unquote slow, unathletic guy cooked them time and time again. On defense, kind of the exact same story.
They have a 4-on-2 opportunity. Lloyd to Sampson. And no basket.
And to go to the half. Bird, the quick hand. Both of them have bounced around the rim and just haven't.
Just effort, man. This is such a good video.
They have a great defensive anticipation by Bird.
Lister's got Ainge and a switch down low. And Bird
always in the right spots. And a lot of this just comes from actually being in the game. Like when you're in the game, actually knowing what's going on, who's going where's that ball going, the plays, the sets. That's what a lot of this is from. Just being smart. I mean, look at him. He's engaged. You watch basketball nowadays, you can't even find people that are engaged. So, kids, pay attention.
He's looked crazy. This is why Larry Bird's a great defensive ball player, because of his weak side and his team defensive play.
We don't know whether Walton will play in this game. Bird knocks it away. 6 on the shot clock. Hastings, good pass to contact, and a great block inside.
Whitman. No changes for the Celtics. Dominique.
Mm.
Blocked by Bird.
He was always there, man.
86 Bird, the defender. There's no way he's a subpar defender, even average defender. And look at the numbers, they back it up even more so. 86 Bird, the regular season, first in defensive win shares. I repeat, first out of the entire NBA. Defensive plus minus, 9th. Steals, 8th, and finished 11th in all defensive team voting, 1 vote shy of making second team. Now look at the postseason.
Gotta do your homework, man. Because a lot of y'all say he couldn't play D. He played no defense. He would get cooked. Da da da. But you gotta do your homework before you say these things.
Nearly identical. Defensive win shares, 2nd. Defensive plus minus, 3rd. And for steals, he ranked 6th.
Watched by McHale. Bird coming over to double. Alive. So they're in the scoring drought with 4 minutes and 46 to go. Akeem Olajuwon double. Throws it right into the hands of Bird. There's a 4-on-1 break for the Celtics. And Ames. Bird steals from McCray. Double with McHale. Peterson goes up. Wiggins there.
Y'all gotta put some respect on his name, man.
We're in Sutton at the playoff and the Kemper Open. We'll update.
See some great defense by Larry Bird. You know, he's forcing them to shoot from outside. Get in front of a line.
Hands are always high.
Akeem.
Left hand, right hand, it don't matter.
Inbound pass go much too late, and here's Bird comes over at the last.
You know, that's an underrated skill in itself. Getting steals with your offhand, getting blocks with your offhand. Very underrated skill.
And Ainge was practically taken off, but here's Bird hustling. I'll tell you, inspiration.
We know he on the floor.
When he goes down on the floor,
we already know he on the floor.
Fly through the building.
So that right there is the end of the video. And I'll say one last thing. When looking at the best small forwards and the best players in today's game, all these guys in one degree or another have a big-time flaw in their arsenal. For LeBron at his peak, he was an athletic demon who could dunk on anyone. What was his big-time flaw? Free throw shooting and his outside jumper.
Facts.
Someone like Kevin Durant at his peak, one of the best scorers of all time. But what were his 2 weak points? Leadership, passing, and rebounding. Then Kawhi Leonard. This guy's a two-way player, was phenomenal. But what's the one trait he lacked severely? Passing and playmaking, and an upper echelon leader like a Larry Bird. My overall point is pretty simple. Larry Bird in his day in 86 was a 5-tool player who could do it all. He could score, pass, rebound, play defense. He could lead a team, play off ball, shoot the mid-range, 3 to free throw, and hit a game winner if need be. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
Beautiful video, man. Beautiful video. Shout out to you, Uncut. We really appreciate it. If you are a senior or you have a loved one who is a senior and they're just trying to get healthy, want to stay independent, hit the link below. Fill out the form. I will get to you. All right. And I also do senior Zoom classes. If that's something you're interested in or you got a loved one who might be interested in that, drop that in the comments as well. Dope video. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, but definitely share this video. Definitely go show the original video some love because I know he put in a lot of effort into making it. So yeah, man, definitely go show him some love on that, man. Let me know what y'all want to see next.